Guess we're good to go. All right, so welcome for today's session. And this is the Nine Gates Awakening. And this one is not a single standardized doctrine across all tradition, by the way. It is a spiritual framework that I created. And this is often used in modern mysticism. It's like awakening, Kundalini awakening, any kind of awakening, like a kind of spiritual journey. But mainly it's for Kundalini work or any inner transformation teaching to describe stages of thresholds of awakening consciousness. So think of the stages as initiations of inner portals you pass through as your awareness deepens and your inner identity shifts from the ego to the to soul, to state of soul. So this is what we are going today to experience and learn a little bit about. So the nine gates of states. First, I would like to for some reason is not working with me. First, I would like to introduce myself to you guys. My name is Esther Alawi. I know some of you knows me, some don't. So
Hello.
would you mind please just mute yourself because I cannot talk and mute you on the same time? Thank you. I appreciate your patience with me until I'll be done with the presentation. So my name is Esther Alawi, and I'm an intuitive person. I'm a Kundalini woman, and I'm a mysticism person. I am devoted to leading others into profound healing, clarity, and self-realization. So my work is not just about transformation. It is about, returning you to the truth of who you are. Also, I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm an energy medicine healing practitioner and a Reiki master, as I am a certified with that. Also, I am a spiritual advisor and a past life regression healing practitioner. I facilitate deep subconscious transformation, helping people to release limiting patterns and embody lasting change through holistic integrative methods. So I support individuals in reconnecting with their true essence and empower them to overcome challenges, create lasting change so they can live with authenticity, confidence, and a deep sense of inner peace. If anybody is interested to connect with me, to contact me after the session, here's my website, estheralawi.com, and esther@estheralawi.com is my contact. Now, we're going to start with the first gate, the illusion. So I call them the gates. We can call them the states as well. So the first one that we go through, it is the first one in the bottom, usually the first one, the illusion that we live in within and outside. This is the unconscious living, the way that we are living in, like, on the autopilot mode. So living on autopilot means moving through life without conscious awareness. We're not aware of our actions in a way. So where daily actions, I'm still admitting people, by the way, daily action thoughts and emotional reactions are driven by deeply ingrained subconscious patterns rather than intentional choices. It feels like being awake on the surface, usually, but it's not. Yet internally disconnected, repeating the same routines, making the same decisions, and reacting in familiar ways without truly questioning why. And this is how, when we say I'm living on the autopilot mode, like, it's like the same when you put your car on the autopilot and you're driving it. It's the same when they put the airplane on the auto mode and it drives itself. So it's something you're continuing. It's the same cycle, and you're unconsciously doing things, thinking it is conscious. So in this state, behaviors are shaped by past conditioning. This is what affects it, actually. Your childhood experiences the most and social expectations. You may find yourself saying, doing, or even feeling things automatically as if something else is in control. Life becomes predictable, mechanical, and often emotionally muted or overwhelming at the same time. So there is a little presence in the moment. Instead, the mind drifts between memories. Specifically, the memories I'm talking about, it's the deep past ones. I'm not talking about a minute ago, a day ago. I'm talking about the ones that have been sitting there in your unconscious for years and years. And also the future worries, rarely grounded in the now. So we are either in the past, living in the past, or we are living in the future, forgetting about the moment that we need to ground ourselves in this moment in order for us to move on. So choices are often made out of habit, fear, or the need for approval rather than authentic desire. Over time, this can create a quiet sense of disconnection for us, feeling like you are going through the motions rather than truly living. So you're living every day in the same routine, same patterns, same cycle. Even achievements or external success may feel empty for you because they are not aligned with your deeper truth. This is because there's something, again, you're in an autopilot. What you have learned, the way you were raised, the way you've been taught, the way the society, framed you, all that things. So living on an autopilot is not a failure, as most they think usually. It is actually a protective mechanism of the mind creates usually, but it also keeps you from fully experiencing life, awareness, and yourself true. So going on the go on that autopilot mode living, it's really taking us away from the really who we are as a soul, as who we should be. Now, for this gate, there's three different sections. The first one goes under the conditioned beliefs, social identity. So this is what affects us. Well, one of the effects is the conditioned beliefs, social identity. Deeply ingrained beliefs formed through childhood experiences, family values, education, and culture influence. Truth, accepted without a question. So usually we accept what they tell us without even us asking if that's true or not. And this is how the autopilot happened, right? So truth accepted without question about who you are, what you deserve, and how life is supposed to be, right? Internalized voices of authority. So parents, teachers, society, etc., what's influenced us from day one. And they shape us. They shape our self-image and they shape also our decisions. Social identity built on roles, labels, and expectations. Success, status, gender roles, culture norms, etc. This is also the social identity that we get labeled with, right, from day one, also play a big role in our autopilot. Measuring self-worth based on external validation. And this is something most of us, we get stuck in this particular, by the way, sentence here, measuring self-worth and our achievements or how others perceive you or perceive us. Usually we get stuck in measuring our self-worthy and the way we feel about ourselves, the way we look ourselves upon or based on actually how others they validate us and not the way we validate ourselves. And this is one of the main problem as well. Living accordingly to shoulds, like I should, rather than authentic desires. So usually this is how it is here. I should do this, but most of our shoulds, it's always against what really our desires is, but we do it anyway. And that's because the other influence that mentions about, right? Also fear of rejection or judgment. And this is something, unfortunately, it's a huge thing in societies, judgment. So the fear of rejection or judgment reinforces conformity and suppresses individuality. Judgment, it's very low. We consider it one of the very low vibration, by the way, and especially when a person will go ahead and judge other person or judge a situation or you judge anything out of your own, by the end of the day, it's out of your own experience, which is, this is not a judgment. Actually, it's mainly, it would be as a reflection, but this is something we're not realize or we're not aware of what we're doing. And unfortunately, the society we live within, and especially the Western society or any kind of societies, they're big on judgment, and that's really very low vibration. So I mean, hint for you guys, the way we're living in the societies these days, disconnection from inner truth as identity becomes performs rather than essence. So also the disconnection, most of the time we are disconnected from our own truth, our own self identity of who we are, and that's how we become as a performance. So we are performing more than who we are. We should be who we are. So also repeating inherited patterns without conscious awareness. This is one of the main things that I gathered together for you today under the conditions, beliefs, social identity, that how we are affected with those items, maybe we can call them, without us realizing that this is what's happening in our life and how things is going in our life, and how we are going into this autopilot without noticing, and we're getting more disconnected and far away, further and further from the true who we are, and we're becoming maybe, I'm not going to say someone else, because we never will become someone else. It's just a different version of you, that's all. So awakening begins when you question. I always tell my clients and people I work with, the more you start questioning and putting question to yourself, the better it is. Because by us start questioning and having questions, this is where is the awareness starts. So some questions maybe we can ask: is this truly me, or who I was taught to be? Ding ding, question mark in here. And most of the time the answer will be, it is not the truly you. It's for sure what they taught you to be, as the system that we are, we live, we still within from day one we were born. So by end of the day, this is not who truly you are. This is what you have been taught to be, the other version of you. So in this illusion, you're not choosing your life. You are living a script that was written for you, actually. So it's good to take maybe a moment and just think about that. Now, the second part is disconnection from the true self. And the way we disconnect from the true self is, some of them is like loss of connection with your inner voice. Maybe you're far away from your intuition and authentic desires, living in a way that feels foreign for you, like wearing a mask or playing a role that you're not even aware of it. But because you're going in the autopilot again, you're just going with the flow. This is what you've been taught. This is what you have been learned. You don't know better, right? And also difficulty knowing what you truly want, feel, or believe at a deeper level. Also, another way of disconnection we go through is the emotional numbness or inner confusion. So, most of the time, we feel empty, lost, or misaligned, and ignoring inner signals like gut feeling or intuition in favor of logic, fear, or external approval. Some clients, I'm not going to say most of them, the one I work with, usually they come to me. Most of the time, they're very strong in their logic in the head, forgetting the way how they can really, connect with the heart, with their own intuition, right? So this is where is the emotional numbness happen, or the inner confusion, when we really stick to the logic and we ignore the signals, what's ourselves telling us, and following what we have been told. And that's because Of course, we come from a lot of wounds. We all come from a very, traumas is normal. This is part of the journey. But those kind of experiences really create and cause a lot of fear, right? And made us go out of the picture instead of for us to step into the picture. The picture is us in a way. Also, suppressing parts of yourself to fit in, trying to change who you are in order for you to fit in that kind of society in a way and be accepted or avoid conflict. Also, a sense of fragmentation. So, different versions of yourself in different environments. That's also is disconnecting from yourself, seeking meaning, identity, or fulfillment outside rather than within. Again, going out, running away from your own self, thinking that logic is right, the society is always right, the outside feeling is right, ignoring how you connect with your own gut feeling, with your own high self, with your own intuition. Feeling disconnected, of course, you're going to feel it disconnected. The more you go out, searching for things, for fulfillment, example, the more you're disconnected. And not only from yourself, but from purpose, your own passion, and your own deeper truth. That's that's definitely you will lose or you're already lost. So at this stage, life way maybe look fine for you from the outside frame, right? Logically, you're good, you're accepted, society, it's good, life is good, you're into the system. You wake up, you sleep, you eat, you go work, same patterns, same things. Everybody is happy, that means you're happy, right? But inside, there is a quiet sense of something missing. Your own self feel it, your soul feel it. There's something is not aligned. So the soul began to whisper to you, right? I've lost touch with who I truly am. And that's where it's not a conflict, maybe the confusion happen when we go out too much, was something inside us trying to pull us back to our reality, to who we are deeply in. And that's where the confusion happen and we get lost. Do I need to stay out? Do I need to listen to myself? That's how it happens. Now, after the first gate, the illusion and the way we go into the autopilot, into the pattern that has been drawn to us, been, given to us, been taught to us, and the way the society, our life is being, maybe for a decade now, I don't know, the same way, same pattern. Now, within the 9 gates of awakening, we go for the second one. We move through the second one. This is where is the cracking. This is where the spiritual triggers happen. This is where the self-talk happens to us. The first part of that is life disruption has start happening and we start feeling that kind of life disruptions. That's what I call the cracking in our self. It's like when trauma we know happens, loss, maybe divorce, maybe awakening events, any kind of triggers in a way that will come into our life. And as a call, actually, I will never call those triggers problems, to be honest. I will call them, they are really a lessons by end of the day, but they are like a signal, and they give us a signal. So a sudden or gradual life event shakes the foundation of your reality, breaking the illusion of control and stability. Example, usually people go through that kind of sudden shock, through that kind of loss, divorce, any kind of event, as I mentioned, or trauma. I will give example for that. Example, you've been married for 25 years, very loyal person, but you had a partner that's really, really represent your shadow. So maybe you represent the light, he represent the dark. your dark side, the shadow in your journey from that perspective. And then suddenly, when it's the time for you, that crack, start like, irritating you, triggering you. Maybe you get what we call nerve breakdown, that kind of trauma. And then after the nerve, for some kind of events, let's say a big fight happened with your partner one day or something, and you fed up and you cannot have their cheating anymore, you cannot handle their ignorance anymore, from that perspective, right? And then suddenly you get a break nerve, and then there's something changing you, some kind of realization, awakening, that kind of things. You wake up different person. You don't even knowing yourself. Another example, a car accident happened to you suddenly, and you come out um, fine, but that car accident was really a huge trauma, very, very aggressive, maybe car accident or very strong one, that you came out alive as a miracle. This kind of event, it will shock you, it will trigger you spiritually in a way, and that's what we call a sudden or gradual life event shake foundation for you. Now, experiences such as heartbreak, as I mentioned, loss, illness, separation, or unexpected change create a deep inner rupture. Any kind of change on our nerve system, actually, this is what is going to trigger that kind of journey for us. The spine, the nerve system is all what we are about, you know, right? So the nerve system control the body, control the mind, right? So any change, any shock on our nerve system in a way, this is where the change happen. But when we are on autopilot again, there is no shock on our nerve system. There's no change. So let's think of it that way. So any kind of experience we go through, it's a shock, and that shock, it will cause for that action, it will cause a reaction, and that reaction, it will be the crack in our journey, the spiritual trigger. Also, what once felt certain for you, as I mentioned again, relationship, your identity, your direction, suddenly sometimes will begin to collapse or lose meaning for you. So the external world no longer provides the same sense of security, forcing an inward turn. So this is something also will happen when you are ready to start the journey. So you will be forced actually most of the time for the external world for you to start shattered, and then you will start going within inward. You turn inward. Emotional pain. Our emotions and the pain. This is a big subject, by the way, but it's very important for us. Usually, they becomes the doorway for us, and this is related to our emotion body that we have. Our emotional body is one of our five subtle bodies that
Are
is
you not
related.
going, dude?
Excuse me, can you mute yourself, please? Because I cannot mute you. I'm doing the presentation. Whatever said the dude. Thank you. So the emotional pain becomes a doorway. Grief, confusion, fear, or shock begin to surface intensely, and the old coping mechanism may fail, leaving you feeling exposed, vulnerable, and uncertain. Again, any kind of shock, our emotional body also related to our nerve body. Everything in our body related to each other, right? That everything is connected in a way. So also any emotional pain, this is also a sign. It's a doorway for us. Maybe we need to pay attention. More to our emotion and feelings and what they try to tell us. There's a lot in there of communication, I feel, between our emotional body, all in a way, in our mind or ourselves. Everything starts in the emotion, in that body, in a way, and the etheric body. That is, the emotion is one of the five etheric bodies, right? The five subtle bodies. So this is where we need maybe to take time and work the most in healing the emotion part. Also, a profound questioning when these things will happen, it begins. And there's again questions. Why is this happening to me? Most people, they will say to me, why this is happening to me? I don't want this to happen to me. I didn't ask for this to happen to me. Yes, you didn't ask for this to happen to you, but guess what? It's happening, and that's for a reason, right? You're not the same person before. Maybe you need to look into why this is happening to you. Who am I without this? That's where the fear will play the role also. The attachment. And we start questioning. And what is the deeper meaning of my life? This is a question I get across a lot. It's like, what's the purpose of my life? Why I'm here? Why am I doing? What I am doing here? So all those are questions I look at them into. They're really a good questions for us to ask ourselves, because this is where the realization starts, and this is where the triggers, where's the crack happen, and we start questioning and feeling, because we start feeling that it's not me, someone, this is not all me, there's something going on with me, I don't know myself anymore. So questions, again, guys, it's a good thing. So don't stop, keep asking yourself questions. Don't try to find the answers right away. This is another advice I always say. The answer will come to you when you are ready to receive. Also, in some cases, this disruption is accompanied by a spiritual awakening, as I mentioned. And this is most people I notice, they don't notice that they are walking, they get activated. They start the spiritual journey without them realizing what happened in their life, why they're still going inside the old cycle. So heightened awareness, maybe, or sensitivity, or a sense that something greater is unfolding. This is not just a breakdown. Usually it's a sacred interruption. That's how we look at it. So life is no longer asking you to continue as before, the way you were before. It is, you know, inviting you. It's an invitation for us. Invitation to change, invitation for higher consciousness, invitation for more clarity, invitation for enlightenment, for awakening. So this is I feel this stage, by the way, is very important, the crack, because this is where we start noticing the change that is happening within us. Also, the ego will start to break. So ego, I don't know if you know, guys, but I'll share with you. Our ego usually, as the theory says, it remains usually in our gut, whereas the solar plexus, whereas your inner child also remain. So the ego and the inner child, usually they are very connected. Yeah, I know. I got surprised when I found out that, by the way, a while ago. But that's the truth. So the identity you once felt certain about begins to unravel. Roles, labels, and beliefs no longer feel solid or true for you. So you start questioning. So you start questioning outside your ego. So the ego will start falling, this is very good, by the way. You may question everything you once identified with your career, relationships, values, and even your sense of self. Most people, when I ask them about their identity, like, who are you? Usually, this is a very simple question. It's very psychological question, by the way. And the answer will be, most of the time, they will answer me with their career position. So when I say, who are you? Example, say, oh, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer. And this is how, the autopilot, right? So by the ego starts breaking, we will start realizing, no, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a doctor. This is just a work I do. This is like, this is it's not me as me. It could be part of me, but it's not me. So it's not my identity. I'm not a doctor all the time, right? So the need to control outcomes, be right, or maintain a certain image starts also to weaken. So we start like, okay, I don't need to be that aggressive because I want to control everything. I want to be in control. And if something go wrong, I will go crazy. So when the ego start breaking, you will lose up a little bit. Also defensive patterns, people pleasing, perfection, validation seeking. those kind of things begin to lose their grip also. You don't care. You don't care about it when the ego also start to break. We don't care about pleasing people. I will tell the truth no matter what. Um, I'm not here. My job is not really to please people. My job is not really fix people. My job is not holding people. My job, it's me. My main job is really to work on me and me and me. So this is the grip will start getting lows, also defensive patterns, and a sense of confusion or inner stability may arise. It's like, I'm not who I thought I was. Then who am I? This is the first question, by the way, I asked myself in my Kundalini journey before when I start my journey years ago. Um, that was the first question honestly came to my mind when I like the thing happened when that kind of thing, I call that electric shot happened. uh, who am I? Okay, I'm not who I am. So who the really me? So you may feel lost, which is true, uncertain, indeed, or emotionally exposed as familiar structures fall away. Old coping mechanisms stop working, forcing you to face deeper truth, and you may have avoided for a long time. So there can be resistance, fear, or letting go, clinging to what feels safe and known. Also, at that times, it may feel like a breakdown of identity, and this is how the ego, start to break. You really feel yourself. No, you're nobody. You're nothing. I mean, you don't know yourself. You're lost. Period. But it is actually a breakthrough in progress. So you need that breakdown in order for you to rebuild. Okay? So the false self begins to dissolve. Um, to dissolve, creating space of something more real, aligned, and authentic to emerge. I always like to share that information because most people I found they have the wrong understanding about the ego. We don't kill our ego. That is not true because no one can kill part of them. Can you like cut up? Can you like cut your arm and just throw it in a garbage or something, or your leg or whatever? No, the ego, it's part of your system. So the ego represent where's the darkness, your shadow, remain. So what we do, we train the ego. We break the ego, we make the ego start serving the soul instead of the soul serving the ego as it's happening when we are in autopilot. Okay. So we train the egos the same way how you train your dragon, right? In a way, in the movie. So we train the ego, you train your fire, you control your fire because the ego, it is the solar plexus, it represents the fire element. So you train your ego and you control the ego. You don't kill the ego. There is nothing called killing the ego. This is very wrong statement, by the way. So the more you train the ego, you control your ego. This is where you are more in control for your own shadow because you never ever you will be able to get rid of your shadow. I mean, no matter what, your shadow will remain down there. It's a matter of you if the shadow rules or your high self rules. So this is what is the balance. It has gotta be happen. Okay. So that's how it is. You break the ego, you rebuild that part in a way to serve the soul. So this is the collapse of who you were taught to be, the system what told you, and the beginning of discovering who you truly are beneath it all. It's like you're coming out of your shell, like how the snakes they change any kind of those kind of lizards, whatever. Also, they change their skin. They tear their old skin and they build a new skin. So this is the same thing for us. So we get rid of our old clothes maybe and get those new clothes that will be more proper for the journey that we need to wear them. All right. Now, emotional intensity rises. Also, in this stage too, as I said, it's a very important stage for us. When the crack happened, this is where the journey starts, really journey starts. It's the emotional intensity rises. So you're gonna notice that your emotion is changing. So suppressed emotions that you have suppressed it maybe for years and years and years by ignoring, facing it, begin to surface with unexpected strength. Grief, fear, anger, shame, confusion, or deep longing, maybe. Feelings that were once buried or avoided can no longer be ignored. You cannot run away from it anymore. Rising into conscious awareness. So the moment those emotions will start rising into conscious awareness, you have no choice but to face it. You got to face it. You got to acknowledge it. You got to live these emotions. You got to understand the purpose for it, the lesson that's coming out of it, and you're gonna let it go. You cannot avoid it anymore. Emotional reactions may feel overwhelming or unpredictable, as if everything is being felt at all or all at once. That's correct. That's how you're going to feel. This is how you're feeling. But this is not the end of the world, because we are like the phoenix. So the phoenix were reborn from their own ashes. So you gotta go get burned. You burn all the way down, and you will reborn from your own ashes. The real identity, the real you will come up. All right. So small triggers can activate deep emotional responses rooted in past experiences. Everything is about the past, guys. So please pay attention for the past. The body holds and releases stored tension. This may show up as fatigue, restlessness, or heightened sensitivity, and more, of course. So there's more also signs will show on the body that we get confused. Sometimes we don't know that this is a stored tensions, and our body's trying to talk to us, and we think that we're sick. Some people also they will have like a flu symptoms by in a way that they don't have a flu, but their body is trying to release that kind of emotion intense that they have within. So you may feel more vulnerable, raw, and open than ever before, which is okay. All the emotion patterns and wounds come forward to be seen, understood, and processed. So again, you have no choice. You cannot run away. There is a strong pull to either suppress these feelings again. You don't want to. You don't want to face it. You're so scared to face it, right? You want to suppress it again and move through them. That's what you think. But this time, the moment the crack happened, you will not be able to suppress it. You will not be able to ignore it the way you used to do it before. You have no choice. You get to carry on. You have to go further, you know? So um, you have to keep going. Now, this phase can feel chaotic, by the way, but it carries deep purpose. It is a clearing process. What rises is not here to break you, but to be acknowledged and released. And this is something what we're doing here, by the way, I do the most in my sessions, is really helping people to release their trauma, to help them to stop the fear, maybe to trust themselves, to trust the journey and let it go. The more you let it go, the better you are. So this is not emotional weakness. It is emotional awakening. As I said, you're not falling apart. You are feeling what was never fully felt before. Through this intensity, healing begins and space is created for inner clarity and transformation. So this is the transformations happening in Gated Tree, the seeker. So searching for the truth. So after the crack happened, you start realizing, feeling some change in you. You start questioning yourself. Could you please just mute yourself whenever you're not muted, please? Because I can hear you. Thank you. Now is the stage, the gate three, that you're searching for the truth. The first part of it, it's exploring spiritual healing and energy work. So this is something most they start seeking to. They turn into different habits, different activities, different maybe like you know intentions. So awakening curiosity, they start getting curious about the awakening spiritual. What is spirituality? What is awakening? What is all those things? So a quiet inner calling begins to rise within you. You start questioning all beliefs, seeking deeper meaning, and exploring the mysteries of life, consciousness, and the soul. So you start questioning, you start going different in, different like way. So curiosity becomes the doorway that leads you inward, inviting you to discover a new perspective, healing possibilities, and a deeper connection with yourself. Now, discovering inner wisdom. Beyond the knowledge you gather from the outside world, you begin to recognize the wisdom that already exists within you. Through reflection, healing, meditation, and self awareness, you reconnect with your intuition and learn to trust the voice of your own soul. So you start turning more inward, connecting with your true self. As layers of fears, conditioning, and old identities begin to fall away, you start remembering who you truly are beneath the roles you have carried. You could you please, guys, please mute yourself. Thank you. You move from searching outside yourself to discovering the light, strengths, and truth that have always been within you. So you are not here to follow every path. You are here to discover your own. All right, I'm going to just solve this problem once and all. All right. Now, drawn to deeper practices. And now, here, after the crack happened and you start having realization, your life, the whole entire life path will start changing. And you're gonna, after you start questioning yourself and you start going deeper inside, trying to figure out who you are, you go through, you want to do different things. Example, instead of, for you every Saturday going to the bar, you say, oh, you know what? I feel like I want to do some meditation. I want to do this. I want to do that. So this is where's the drawn. You get drawn to deeper practices. I want to go. I want to try DMT. I want to do ayahuasca. Ritual, and you start trying to go out searching for the truth. You go that direction. So the journey is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you have always been. And this would flow naturally after the seeker drawn to deeper practices in your awakening journey. So now, with the drawn into the practices, this is something is going to help you really to help yourself to discover yourself more, because you have to change. If you don't change the pattern that you have been going through all your life, you will not be able to do what you need to do. So some of the drawn to deeper practices, I found people, they will start doing meditation and stillness. So creating space to quiet the mind, observe your thoughts, and reconnect with your inner presence. This is something will help you. Some breath work, using conscious breathing to release tension, regulate emotions, and deepen awareness of the body. This is something also very beneficial. Energy work, exploring practices such as I don't recommend a lot of Reiki unless if the Reiki person is awakened person, to be honest. I'm not against nobody. I'm a Reiki master myself. I don't practice this with the old methods, because there is a lot of change happen on the system. And with the change that happened to make a commercial, there was a lot of gap in there that it will bring a lot of different like beliefs and system within it. We don't need it, right? So if you guys drawn to do those things, make sure that you're connecting with the high self, you're connecting with the grace, you're not doing other things, you know what I mean, because you might get harm more than help. Chakra balancing is something good too. Sound healing and subtle energy awareness, any kind of energy work you feel comfortable for the practitioner to work with you, do it, but make sure that practitioner, they know what they're doing. This is very important. Also, Kundalini practices. This is something. Those Kundalini practices, I don't recommend to everybody unless if the person has been called for that practice. It's a very intense a practice, but it's very spiritual, very high spiritual. Working with breath, movement, mantra, meditation, and awareness to explore life force energy. So this is something you have to be called for it. Some people I know, because this is what I do. I help people Kundalini people as well. So if you get activated with the Kundalini, you have Kundalini. So this is something I will recommend strongly than anything else for you to stick to Kundalini. But if you have universe awakening, you're getting activation, with the clarity, alignment, those kind of things. Any other practices will do just well for you. Just be cautious about what you're doing to yourself. Also, some practices with the practitioners, like hypnosis and subconscious work, exploring inner beliefs, memories, emotional patterns, working on those and creating new possibilities for growth. This is something also very good if you do group hypnosis sessions, you do private sessions. Working with your subconscious will help you to evolve as well and heal. Inner child healing. This is something I recommend, to be honest, for everybody, because we all come from that kind of traumas and wounds. Connecting with your younger parts of yourself, offering compassion, and healing all emotional wounds is very important in this journey. Shadow work, bringing awareness to hidden fears, patterns, and aspects of yourself that need acceptance and integration. Don't run away from yourself. Face your own shadow. Journaling is a very good way I found, and self reflection too. I know a lot of people, some clients for me, they love doing journaling. Uh, when we journal, just to let you know, guys, while you are journaling, you are connecting with your subconscious at that moment without you realizing that you are connecting with your subconscious. And journaling is a very good way for you to write down, uncover emotions, insights, dreams, intuition, and personal truth, and look into it. You go back and you look into it and you connect the dots in order for you to receive a message, maybe. Mantra and sound practices. This is something also very sacred. Sacred sounds, affirmations, and vibration to focus in the mind and cultivate presence. This is a very strong one, too. I recommend it for people they have been in a journey. If someone want to start a journey, I will always recommend you to start slowly. Do not rush. Movement and embodiment. Practices like yoga. Yoga is very beautiful. Mindful movement, dance, or somatic awareness to reconnect with the body. This is something very gentle, very beautiful. You can start doing it, and it will help you to start the journey. Nature connection. This is something for me, it's the top line, to be honest. Spending time in nature within mother, nothing better than you throwing yourself into your mother nature arms. And grounding, restore, and reconnect with the rhythm of life. This is something very beautifully. So really, if everyone will be able to start doing hiking, walking. If you are close to the water, just go merge yourself in the water, walk on the sand. If you are close to forest, parks, whatever it is, nature, just go out, get out of the four walls you're living within. Reconnect with your nature, reconnect with Mother Earth, connect for the base for who, to go back to your basic for who you are. Also, spiritual study and wisdom teaching. This is something very nice. Exploring teaching, traditions, philosophy, and perspective that expand your consciousness. So, going deeper within the through practices of usually meditation will give you return into stillness. Breath work will give you awakening awareness, kind of. Energy work, it will reconnect you with your life force. Shadow work, embracing all parts of yourself. Emotional healing, it's releasing old wounds. And inner reflection, discovering your truth. So, every single one of those related, by the way, to specific elements as well. So if we pay attention to the elements that we are made from and work within our elements, also this is something very good for us in order for us to balance our five elements, five energy. So truth, what you are drawn to is not random. So if you're drawn to this path, that's not a random. It's a guiding you deeper within. So, and a natural pull begins towards stillness, healing, and inner exploration, not forced, just felt. So remember, we don't force, we feel. We feel, we absorb, we understand. We don't force. The moment you force, you are interacting with your ego. You are working, taking actions from the ego. So we don't force, we let the energy flow. We are an absorber for our own life. We are not the controller. So this is, if you're going to be able to understand this statement, to be honest, so we're not the controller, we are the absorber. That will help you a lot to go through any kind of struggling you're going through at this time of your life. So gate number 4, our shadow, facing our shadow, for facing the inner darkness. So this goes for confronting trauma, wounds, and fears, facing our wounds, facing our fears, and not run away from it. So the shadow facing the inner darkness. So this is a stage of the journey where you begin to turn inward, facing yourself. It's a turning point in the journey, and it's not anything else but really standing facing yourself, not just toward light, but toward the parts of yourself you once avoided. So in a way, we don't want to face and change the light. It's light. What we need really to balance is our darkness, our shadow. So where you begin to look within, it's your shadow, not only at the light, but at what has been hidden behind the light. Emotional triggers. Moments that feel intense or overwhelming often point to something deeper. So connect with that feeling. Do not run away. Running away is, imagine yourself, you're just going to keep running, running, running. How long you going to keep running? By end of the day, you have no choice. You got to face yourself. If it's not in this life, if it's not meant for you in this life, it will be in next life maybe. But if it's meant for you and you start changing, that means stop running. It's not going to work anymore with you. So you may notice strong reactions, anger, jealousy, fear, sadness, or so. That seems bigger than the situation itself. So these triggers are not random. They are reflections of unhealed wounds, asking to be seen and understood. So try to connect. Suppressed emotions, feeling you once pushed down, begin to rise to the surface. So whatever you have been pushed down, no more down, it's coming up, it's rising. And mainly the most time those kind of feeling will feel in the chest, where is the heart chakra is mainly. But doesn't mean every single part of our body hold specific feeling and trauma, by the way. And usually our traumas and feelings lives in the tissue of their organs. So example, our the liver holds what we call anger. The grief goes in the heart or lungs, as an example, fears in the kidney. So our body hold those feeling emotions. Okay. So old pain, grief, shame, or fear may, reappear, not to harm you, but to acknowledge and release. What was buried is now ready to be felt, processed, and healed. So unconscious patterns, we begin to notice repeating cycles in your life. So you're going to start repeating in relations, behaviors, and emotion response. You will start noticing that you're making the same mistake. And you're going to start asking yourself, you're questioning yourself, why am I repeating this? Why I am choosing the same partner that I chose the same time last time? Is the same mistake that has happened? Is the same pattern? So you're going to start having that kind of consciousness, like, you know, you start noticing patterns that once felt automatically become visible. And with awareness, you gain the power to change them. So awareness breaks the cycle. So the more we become aware of ourselves and our journey, the more we break the cycle, we come out of the system and opens the door to change. And the more, again, you become aware, the more you are connected with the universe and your own divine, and you're out of the materialistic system. So, the ego and identity. Parts of your identity may begin to feel unstable or unclear. All the identities begin to shift. The roles, labels, and beliefs you once held tightly may start to fall away or no longer resonate with you. This can feel confusing or uncomfortable, but it creates space for a more authentic version of you to emerge. So, what once felt certain may begin to fall away. You're going to start questioning, you're feeling it. Self confrontation. You're invited to see yourself fully, not just the light, but the parts you have judged or rejected, your shadow. That's really the part we have rejected and we have judged ourselves, by the way. No one else, just to let you know. So this requires honesty, courage, and compassion. So the compassion and love starts where? With you, with yourself. You forgive yourself. You give love to yourself. You give courage. You be honest with yourself, not anyone else. It is not about fixing yourself. It's about understanding and having acceptance, accepting all aspects of who you are. So you accept yourself with your all sides, no matter what it is, how bad you are or good you are. You love yourself the way you are and you accept yourself. This is how we face the shadow, by accepting and love. Integration. As you face your shadow, something begins to shift. You no longer run from these parts of yourself. You begin to embrace, learn from, and integrate them. This is where true transformation happens, when you have acceptance. So this is the hardest gate, by the way, and many people turn back here, just to let you know. Many people, they fail in a journey. They struggle here and they give up easily and they go back to their old pattern. And then they have to go back to the same cycle again and again. I call people who are, or souls who are a warrior, they do pass this state. They will be able to pass it. They will be able to face their shadow. They will be able to give the love. They will be able to change because deep down they are ready to change. Again, there is no judgment. It's a journey, and every one of us walking this journey with the different shoes. That's how I call it. So the darkness is not your enemy, it's your doorway, actually. And what you face, you free you. So what you face, really, it will free you. And what you accept, it will transform you. Again, inner child work. This is something I wanted to put the lights on this, because inner child work, guys, is very important for us. This is the most part of who we are. It's been ignored for years and years and years. The emotional purging, healing the inner child through awareness and compassion. Key points. This is important. The shadow represents the hidden, rejected, and suppressed parts of ourselves. And this is where I mentioned and I said the ego is connected to our inner child, often formed in childhood through pain, trauma, and unmet emotional needs. So the inner child carries these wounds, fears, and emotional imprints. This stage is not just about confronting pain, it's about meeting the younger parts of you, the little boy, the little girl of you that were at certain time not seen, unheard, or unsupported, and who did not. We all come from those wounds. As I mentioned, it's really the inner child system. It's really very important in order to who we become later in a journey. It's really like the foundation who helps us. What happens when unhealed? So when we are not healed from those wounds, and specifically the inner child wound, repeating patterns in relationships will occur. And I'm not talking only intimacy, any kind of relationship here, emotional triggers. So you fears, anger, abandonment, you feel all the time. The self-sabotage, this is something huge, I find, and limiting beliefs. Self-sabotage, that's number one, guys. We sabotage ourselves on the go without even realizing what we're doing. The way we talk to ourselves, the way we treat ourselves, we don't notice how we sabotage the self. So your reactions are often echoes of your inner child. When something feels overwhelming, it may not be about the present moment, but about a past experience that was never solved. So feeling rejected, maybe, feeling unseen, maybe, or not good enough, maybe. These are not weaknesses. They are signals from your inner child asking you to be acknowledged. So don't run away. When you feel ashamed about yourself, ask yourself maybe, why am I feeling ashamed? What's in there in me that I need to get rid of, to work on, to heal, to get rid of this feeling? This feeling, shame, I am not ashamed of something happened at this moment, absolutely. It's an old action that happened, that this reaction for that action, I have been suffering these consequences for it up to today. So ask yourself, what's why I'm feeling shame? Why I'm shy? Why I'm not feeling comfortable? ask yourself, and yourself will answer you indeed. So the healing path. Awareness. We start healing by awareness, noticing your triggers without judgment. Important. This is very important, by the way. No judgment. Understanding. Acceptance. Embracing all part of yourself, even the uncomfortable. Don't run away from your shadow. If you have a bad habit, that's fine. Accept it and work on it. Try to heal it. Find what's under beneath that old or bad habit that you have, because you were not born this way, right? Inner child work, reconnecting with the younger self through love and safety. Give the love, compassion, replacing criticism with understanding. So stop criticize yourself. Stop judging on yourself. Understand what yourself's trying to tell you. So maybe we can say a kind of affirmation, very beautiful. I lovingly face my shadow and heal the child within me. So I love myself. I'm not running away anymore from my shadow. It's part of me. What am I going to run from? And then maybe I'm giving you here some special, like very simple visualization maybe you can do during the day when you feel that way down or running away from your shadow. Maybe from dark to light, guardian background with a still out transforming into light, or a child being embraced. So see that vision, live it maybe for a second, visualize it, and that will help you to connect with your own child. Now, I want to go more details in the inner child because I want everybody to understand this stage. This is very important, guys, for us to heal the inner child. So facing the inner darkness. This stage is not just about confronting pain. It's about meeting the younger parts, as I said, of you that were unseen, unhealed, or unsupported. Your shadow often holds inner child. It is the basic of you. It's the foundation for your shadow side, to be honest. So your inner child waiting for safety, love, and understanding. So in a way, your inner child is not your enemy. The child version of you, it's actually seeking help that has been ignored for years and years. So, two, emotional triggers. Your reactions are often echoes of your inner child. Sorry. When something feels overwhelming, it may not be about the presence moment, but about a past experience that was never resolved, that is affecting this moment, that is a trigger in this moment because of the wound that you carry within. And this situation create a very similar situation for what you lived before, that it triggered your emotion. So maybe feeling rejected, unseen, or good enough. These are not a weakness, as I said. They are signals from your inner child asking to be acknowledged. So the suppressed emotion. As a child, you may not have felt safe expressing everything. That's very known. So emotions were pushed down. So the more you have not had a chance when you were a child to express your feeling, so you had to suppress specifically sadness, fear, anger, shame. You were not able to express those feelings, negative things stayed within you. So now they begin to rise again because whatever was sleeping is awakened, right? This rising is not for to hurt you. It's because your inner child finally feels it might be safe to be healed. So now is the time for you to heal. This is what your inner child trying to tell you, okay? Unmet needs. At the core of the shadow, there are unmet childhood needs. That's what the shadow. Maybe those unmet needs were maybe, sorry, love, safety, validation, protection, being seen or understood. So you begin to realize what you were seeking from others was something your inner child has been longing for all along. An inner dialogue. You start to notice how you speak to yourself. So the inner critic often carries voices from the past, parents, authority figures, or early experiences. So really, it's not even your voice who's talking to you. Inner child healing invites a shift, usually, from criticism to compassion, from judgment to understanding. So we don't criticize ourselves. We give compassion. We don't judge. We understand yourself. So you begin to repeat yourself with kindness. That's the inner dialogue, the way we need to talk to ourselves with kindness. Self-confrontation. So you start ask to gently face your wounds. So here you have no choice. Your inner child, it is trying to reach out, wants you to face the wounds, not by forcing or relieving pain, by really sitting with your inner child, maybe, and saying, I see you, I hear you, my little one. You're safe with me now. Now I know I will never leave you. I'm here and I will always be here for you. And by the way, this self talk, guys, doesn't mean that you are going to stay in the past. You talk to your inner child and you assure to your inner child that he's safe, she's safe, you can see them, but time for them to go. Time for them to go as you today. You are not your past. You're not that little child anymore. Yes, the little child is part of you, but you are not part of that little child. This is something you guys need to understand. Again, I am a my little child is part of me, but I'm not the little child. Does that make sense? So this is where you need to have the awareness and you have the understanding. So you see him, you see your little child, you hear him, you hear her, and you tell them they're safe, but it's time to let go. By you letting go and they need to stay in the past, that's how you detach from the wound, from the trauma. So this requires patience, softness, and honesty. Reparenting, you will reparent your inner child. You begin to give yourself what you did not receive. So maybe you comfort when you feel overwhelmed, you comfort yourself. There's a lot of way to do that. Encouragement when you feel small, encourage yourself. Don't wait for others to encourage you. Boundaries to create safety. Put your boundaries with your surrounding. Love without conditions. You give love to yourself. Do not judge yourself. Love yourself. You become the safe space your inner child needed. So integration. Your inner child is no longer ignored or silenced. Instead of reaching unconsciously, you respond with awareness and care. The wounded parts of you begin to feel supported, held, and included. Now we go to the fifth, letting go, the surrendering. Now, the state after you heal, after we work on our inner child, there's the fifth state, is the healing state. This is where when you heal, a surrendering comes. After facing the shadow and healing old wounds, a new doorway opens, the doorway of surrender. This is the moment where you stop fighting life and begin allowing life to unfold. You release the need to control every outcome and learn to trust the wisdom of the journey. Surrender is not giving up. It is releasing resistance and opening to what is meant for you. I know this state is very hard, guys, but the more you surrender and the easier the journey for you. Number one, releasing attachment to outcomes. So we often create expectations about how a life should happen. We hold tightly to specific results, timelines, people's choices, the need to know what comes next. So surrender invites you to release the attachment without releasing your intention. You continue to walk your path, but with openness instead of fear. So the more we surrender, the less fear we have. That's how it is. So when you stop forcing the outcome, you create space of something greater to unfold, letting go of the need to control. Control is often a response of fear, by the way. We control because we are scared. We scare to not be able to control the situation, specific situation, because we don't know what is the outcome and this and this and that, right? So when we let go, the fear, no fear. You're living with no fear. So control is often a response of fear. The mind tries to protect by predicting, planning, and holding tightly to what feels familiar. And that's where the say comes. The mind fear what it doesn't know, right? But true freedom begins when you realize you can't control every circumstances. You cannot control every person. You cannot control every moment. You only can, and you barely can control yourself. So you can only choose your awareness, your response, and your connection to yourself. Peace begins when control ends. So the ego is a part, the ego softens. When we let it go, the ego will soften. And the ego is the part of us that seeks certainty, approval, and protection. During surrender, the ego begins to soften. So you do move from I must have all the answers to I'm open to discovering. And from I must prove myself to I trust who I am. I don't need to prove to myself. I don't need to prove nothing to nobody. I know who I am. I trust myself. So the ego is not destroyed. It becomes a wiser. See, we don't destroy the ego. The ego become wiser, companion instead of the one leading the way. So no more the ego is controlling you. You are controlling the ego. And here's where's the shift happen. We control the ego. So when the ego softens, the soul becomes louder. And here's where the ego will start serving the soul and not the opposite. And when the ego softer, the surrendering, all identities comes. As you release control, you may begin letting go of version of yourself that you were built from fear. Mez, I will answer all the questions once I'm done. Please hold in because I cannot stop the presentation. So the person who always had to be strong, the person who always had to please others, the person who carried everything alone is no more exist. And you begin asking, who am I beyond my wounds? Who's the real me? Who am I beyond my past? So surrender creates space for your authentic self to emerge. Also, then we go to the true begins after that. After releasing control, trust slowly begins to awaken, not because you know exactly what will happen. We don't know the outcome. And that's where the surrendering comes with not knowing the outcome, but because you trust yourself to meet whatever comes. That's it. You're surrendered. You trust. You trust the journey. You trust your divine. You trust the universe, whatever is your belief. So you begin trusting your intuition, inner guiding, timing of life, and the wisdom of your journey. So trust is the bridge between where you are and where your soul is calling you. So with no trust, nothing will happen in a way. And then flow instead of force. So before surrender, you say to yourself, maybe I need to make everything happen. I need to make everything perfect, right? And after surrender, this is how you're going to say, or this is how usually we say, I'll allow life to work within me. So I allow the universe to work with me. It's not the me working the universe. The universe, I'll allow life to work with me. You begin moving with a greater ease. You listen more deeply. You notice signs. You follow what you feel aligned. You stop chasing and you begin attracting. This is where the attracts happen by surrendering, guys, by trusting and not the opposite, not by the ego. So, what is aligned with your soul does not require constant struggle. And then the gift of surrender happens. Surrender brings inner peace, freedom from fear, deeper intuition, greater acceptance, and connection with the present moment. You discover that letting go does not mean losing. Sometimes surrender is the moment you finally receive, and this is where we need to be. The whole entire idea for us, usually, this is how I say it. The whole purpose, the whole reason for our journey is really to be in the moment. And we are rarely, very rarely, and by mistake sometimes even, will be in the moment. We don't live the moment. So we either in the future, scared because we need to think about it, or in the past, we have that, wounds. We never in this moment, and this moment, it could be the greatest moment for us, but we're not there. So when you release your grip on life, you allow life to hold you. And then we move to the gate 6, the awakening. That's the start. This is where the activations start happening and you start feeling the energy. And the first thing is the heightened awareness, expand awareness. Your awareness will start expanding, becoming more conscious of thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and behavior. And more, you open up to different dimensions. Maybe you start, opening, absorbing yourself without judgment, recognizing the connection between your inner world and the outer world, your reality. You start having that awareness. The veil begins to lift. That's where the third eye comes. All illusions and limiting beliefs begin to dissolve. You start questioning inherited fears, conditioning, and past identities. You don't have acceptance for them anymore. A deeper understanding of your life purpose begin to emerge. You will start connecting more and more with your inner self. Inner guidance awakens, strengthening intuition and inner knowing, learning to trust the wisdom of heart and soul. So you more aligned here within your heart and mind, the heart and the mind, moving from external validation to inner alignment. And then signs of heightened awareness, increased sensitivity to emotions and energy, deeper connection with nature and others, desire of authenticity and meaningful living, awareness of repeating life patterns, feeling called toward healing and transformation. So most people, when they start the activation, they feel like they are very drawn toward helping others, toward giving. And giving is something very, 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 by the way, important. The core theme, awakening, is the moment when the soul begins to see beyond unconscious patterns and remembers its deeper, deeper, deeper down truth. So awakening is not becoming someone new. It is remembering who you have always been beneath the layers of fear, conditioning, and illusion. So maybe you can ask yourself, what truth is my soul asking me to see? What old version of myself am I ready to release? How can I live from awareness instead of reaction? And I had some visual suggestion. Maybe you can visualize a person standing in darkness with a golden light awakening from within the heart, symbolizing consciousness expanding beyond the shadow around. Two, energy activation. And that's where's the awakening, the inner flow. Energy begins to flow. Blocked emotions, memories, and unconscious patterns begin to surface for healing. Life force energy starts moving through the body, the prana, mind, and spirit. And you start getting more, aligned. All stagnant energy is released to create space for expansion. And then activation of your inner potential. Awakening hidden gifts, intuition, creativity, and personal power, it happens in the first stage. This is when you start recognizing and finding and noticing that you're different. You have abilities. You have this. You have that. You're not a robot. You wake up, eat, drink, go to the gym, go to the bar, go to work, come back. You're not labeled anymore. You start sensing, knowing, feeling the expansion, the dimension within you. So reconnecting with your authentic self beyond fear and condition, feeling a deeper connection with your soul purpose. And then the body as an energy temple. And we are, by the way, we are a temple of God. If you like it or you don't like it, we are the temple of God. As long as we have the soul, and the soul is what's, driving this body, right? So we are the temple of God. So we carry our temple within, right? It's our body. So increase awareness of sensations, emotions, and subtle energies, a deeper relationship with breath, with your own breath, presence, and embodiment. Learning to listen to the wisdom of the body. You start connecting with your body. Your body has its own memory, has its own mind, by the way, and feeling. And our body talks to us. But when we are in a sleeping state, we don't have any connection with our body. But once the energy start getting activated within you, inside you, your body also, it is receiving that awakening. So signs of energy activation for you to know: waves of emotions being released, increased intuition and inner knowing, moments of deep clarity and insight, feeling called toward change and transformation, greater sensitivity to people, environments, and energy. So as consciousness expands, dormant energy begin to move, creating a powerful process of activation, transformation, and inner reveal. So allow the energy to move, not resist it. So through breath, meditation, movement, and conscious awareness, the awakened energy becomes a pathway towards healing and higher consciousness. So do not block it. Let it move. Do not resist it. So maybe you can say to yourself as an affirmation, I allow the energy of awakening to flow through me. I release what no longer serves me, and I embrace the expansion of me through of my true essence of me. And also there is the visualizing suggestion, a human figure with a rising spiral of golden light moving from the root chakra upward, symbolizing awakening, awaken life force, energy, and consciousness expanding. So you can visualize this, and you can raise that energy the way you feel like it, and expand it outside, inward, outward, and you can visualize that. Now, three is synchronicities increases. So we start getting more synchronized with our surrounding, a new level of awareness. The mind becomes more present and absorbent. We begin noticing connection that we're always around us, but we never pay attention to it. Life feels less random and more interconnected. And this is something for this part, the new level of awareness. A lot of people, they kind of talk, they talk to me and they tell me, oh, I'm noticing 11, 11, 11, 2, 2, 2, 2 numbers, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Yes, but guys, those numbers has been around us forever. It is a matter of your awareness. You start connecting, or you start noticing that those numbers, they're there, and it's catching your eye, and you're synchronizing with it. But this is not something in you. They have been there before us even, right? Maybe. The language of the soul. Synchronicities appear as meaningful coincidence that invite reflection. Repeating numbers, here we go. Unexpected encounters, symbols, or messages may feel significant. Yes, we start connecting. We open up the door. Inner intuition becomes stronger, guiding us towards alignment. And then the alignment with the universal flow. When we move closer to our authentic self, we become more aware of opportunities and connection. The outer world begins to reflect our inner transformation. And that's why we start getting that synchronicity. We connect with the synchronicities. We learn to listen deeply instead of forcing the outcome. So I'm going to give the example of synchronicity, meeting the right person at the right moment, hearing a message that answers an inner question, maybe, repeated symbols or themes appearing during transformation, unexpected opportunities appearing when we follow intuition. So you begin to feel energy in the body, deep intuition, expanded perception. And as awareness expands, we begin to recognize meaningful connections, patterns, and signs that guide us along our soul journey. So maybe we can do that kind of a practice. Sometimes we can pause, absorb, and reflect your surrounding. We don't have to keep going on the go. So what is feels, and maybe ask yourself, what is life trying to reveal to you? What patterns keep appearing in your journey? And am I listening to my inner guidance? Always ask yourself, by the way, is it my inner guide or other beings that are trying to control me? Because yes, we don't live by ourselves in this world. We are surrounded with other consciousness beings. They don't have the body, and they're just floating. Yet they could be on different dimensions. This doesn't mean that we're not interacting with those dimensions all the time. So it's always good to ask yourself, is this is your high self who's talking to you? So you can get the answer. Usually your high self will give you a sign. If you get an answers, like not usual answers, like, yeah, I'm God, I'm Jesus, I'm King, I don't know who. And yes, I'm talking to you, I'm Archangel. This is not those, believe me. Those will be other beings, consciousness, they're trying to control you. Usually the divine, anything from the higher realms, they don't use the sounds the way we use. They give messages, maybe telepathic. You feel it in your heart, specifically the heart chakra, or you get downloads. They never use words, sounds like us. Anything you hear in your ears, in your mind, talking to you, it is from the lower realms. And you know what I mean. So soul reflection. Synchronicities are gentle reminders that we are connected to a greater flow of intelligence, and every moment can become an invitation to awaken. And visualizing the person walking on a glowing path with surrounding connected stars, symbols, and light points, surrounding them, representing divine timing and universal guidance. So this is something simple you can do. Now the gate 7, the embodiment. This is where the living the truth. You have no choice. Walking your truth daily. So you got to walk your truth daily, especially after you get this to receive the activation and you are on this awakening journey, aligning with your authentic self, living from the wisdom gained through your inner journey, honoring your values, beliefs, and soul purpose, and not anyone else, releasing the needs, your needs to hide, please, or become someone else. So you're no more trying to go out to please. You are going inside. You really see your authentic yourself, the authentic yourself. Walking your truth daily, choosing authenticity over fear, allowing your words, actions, and intentions to become aligned, creating a life that reflects your inner awakening. And again, not taking someone else's life and walk with it, becoming the energy you seek, embodying love, compassion, courage, and awareness, inspiring others through your presence, not just your words. What be the example? That's what we say. Be the example. Don't just say, be the example, right? And this is what it says come. Well, the say comes. And this is what Jesus, I remember, was saying in the Bible. Don't listen to what they say, I think, and don't do what they do. And this is like the opposite, for this inspiring others through your presence. See, so don't just say words, do, show them by doing. So be the example and don't just talk and repeat words. So bringing spiritual awareness into everyday experiences. So sign of embodiment awakening. You respond instead of react. So you don't react anymore. You respond with calmness. Your choices reflect your deeper values. You trust your inner guidance. So you have that, you build that relationship with your inner high self. You feel more grounded and present. Your outer life begins to mirror your inner transformation. So do you notice the change that's happening on outside too? It's not only inside, because the inside will reflect outside. We are our own, life creator, right? So awakening becomes transformation when we move from knowing our truth to embodying it through our daily choices, actions, and presence. So maybe you can ask yourself in here, am I living in alignment with my soul? Do my actions reflect my deepest truth? Where can I choose authenticity today? And you can do the awakened soul does not escape the word. It brings consciousness into the word through every thought, word, and action. Again, don't just talk, act. So think, feel, say, and do. That's what the real walking your truth is means, the three together. And then there's another visualize, I'll keep it for later. I'll say it. A person standing firmly with roots connected to the earth and lighting flowing from the heart upward, symbolizing grounded spirituality, authenticity, and living one's truth. And then again, number 2, a line between mind, body, and soul. That's what I mentioned before, the tree. Mind conscious awareness, cultivating through thoughts that support truth, growth, and inner peace. Not any just thoughts, but awareness. Releasing limiting beliefs and all mental patterns. Let the past go. Choosing awareness over unconscious reactions. So be aware in the moment. Before you act, ask yourself, why I'm feeling this way? What should I do? Right? Do not act out of your anger. Do not act out of your triggers. Body sacred embodiment. Again, our body is the temple, listening to the wisdom and signals of the body, creating harmony through breath, movement, rest, and nourishment. Nutrition is very important. Food, what you put in your body becomes. Just remember, guys, right? So the more toxic, the more acid food, drinks we use, the lower energetically we vibrate. The higher alkaline we feed the body, that's how we help the body to rise the energy. allowing emotions and energy to flow instead of being suppressed. So don't suppress, let it flow, let it express. So let your body express itself. Soul divine connection, living in an alignment with your deeper purpose, trusting your intuition and inner guidance, trusting your own divine, expressing your authentic essence in the word. So the true awakening is achieved when the mind, body, and soul align, come into harmony, allowing us to live from a place of authenticity, uh, authenticity, sorry, presence and inner alignment. So, guys, again, I would like to mention that our body is important part of this journey. It is the vehicle. Do not ruin your vehicle. Take care of your vehicle. The more you take care of your vehicle, the body, the more you give the love for the physical body, the more this is going to last and it's going to serve you in a proper way and hold the energy and radiate. Okay? Integration practice. This is a smaller practice. Bring the three aspects together, maybe. So maybe you can say, what does my mind believe? What does my body feel? What does my soul know? When these three voices unite, we return to our natural state of holiness, body, mind, and soul. So, sign of mind, body, soul alignment, inner peace even during challenges. So, you're always in that state, peace. Actions reflect your deepest value, greater connection with intuition and purpose, feeling grounded, present, and whole, a sense of a flow between who you are and how you live. And self reflection, something we can say when the mind becomes a clear, the body becomes a temple, and the soul becomes the guide, we begin living as our true self. So, this is something also authentic expression, releasing the false selves, letting go of masks, roles, and identities creates to gain approval, healing the fear of being seen, heard, or misunderstood, choosing truth over perfection, expressing the soul's voice again, speaking with honesty, compassion, and integrity. Use your voice to tell the truth, not to lie, as an example. Sharing your gifts, creativity, and wisdom with the world, allowing your unique energy and presence to shine. So don't hide. Living from the inner alignment, creating harmony between what you feel, say, and do. Again, alignment. Making choices that honor your values and soul purpose. Becoming a living expression of your inner awakening. So, authentic expression is the courage to reveal your true essence, allowing your thoughts, emotions, voice, and actions to reflect who you truly are. So maybe you can ask yourself, what part of myself am I ready to express more fully? Where am I still hiding my truth? How can I share my authentic energy today? And there is a sign for the authentic expression. You feel safe being yourself. Your voice becomes clearer, and more confident. You no longer seek constant validation from others, and your creativity flows naturally. Your relationships become more genuine. And then the gate number 8, the service. And once you're ready, you're going to start having the urge, the feeling, the purpose of awakening. Most of the time, if it's not all the time, it's really, guys, to serve, to give. It's never for us. It's always to give, to help. I mean, look around you. All animals, what do? They align, and they're in tune with this, yeah, with this word, right? Everything help. I believe we are the least creature on earth, to be honest. We give back to earth. I don't know. That's from my own perspective. So this is when within the awakening, the state 8, you start talking about service. You feel in the purpose of the awakening, which is it is the service, desire to help others. The heart opens, and that's because your heart chakra opens. The heart opens. The more the heart opens, the more you're in the service, by the way. Moving from self discovery into compassion and connection, feeling a deeper desire to support, uplift, and inspire others, recognizing the shared human journey of healing and growth. Purpose begins to emerge, discovering how your experiences, wisdom, and challenges can serve others. So you start teaching from your own experience. There is a reason you live this life. There's a reason you went through this path. There's a reason you learned those lessons, right? It's for you to teach. It's for you to have to, when you talk, to share with others from your own true authentic. You're not talking to them from a book. You're not telling them stuff from a show you watch on TV. You're really talking deep from the heart. You are sharing your own journey, your own experience. So transforming personal wounds into sources of empathy and understanding, feeling called to contribute something meaningful to the world, and then the serving from holiness, helping others from a place of love, not obligation. We're not obligated to help anybody. We do it because we love to do it. We feel doing it. Sharing your gifts without losing your own balance and boundaries. This is very important because I see a lot of people, they fall in here. They get so excited without the boundaries, without understanding what they're doing sometimes, maybe. And they give more and more and more they should with no boundaries or balance. And they get burned. They get burned and they stop. Becoming a channel of healing, kindness, and conscious presence. So, science, your purpose is awakening, a natural desire to help others heal and grow. Growing, you help them with no, like you don't, you just want to help. That's you. This is your desire. You're not doing it because there is a specific reason in your mind. Feeling drawn toward teaching, guiding, or supporting. So you turn into the teaching, seeing your past struggles as part of your wisdom. So you teach from your own past, experiencing fulfillment through giving and contributing, and feeling connected to something greater than yourself. So you start feeling the oneness. When the heart awakens, personal transformation naturally expands into service. We begin to recognize that our healing is not only for ourselves, but also a gift we share with others. And that's true, by the way, because by the end of the day, we all come from the same source. So regardless, the journey is individual, but we are all one in the same time. So this is the duality. Sorry. So you can maybe ask yourself, what gifts have I gained through my own healing journey that I can share? How can my experiences become a light for others? And I'm not talking to boring others, maybe, or bringing others to, of course, to negativity, because sometimes, if it's not most of the time, the journey we walk, it's hard and there's a lot of wound and a lot of negativity. So it's better for us to know and be aware how we are talking about the journey without bringing that negativity to the table. Okay. You know what I mean? Just to share with awareness. Who am I being called to serve? So the awakened heart does not seek to be above others at all. We're all the same. It seeks to walk beside them, offering love, wisdom, and compassion along the journey. So, and then teaching, healing, guiding, teaching through experience, sharing lessons learned from your personal journey, inspiring others through authenticity and perfection. Oh, sorry, not perfection. So, so you really, you're not the teacher as teacher, as like the teacher as labeled. So you are, we're all brothers and sisters. We're helping each other from that perspective, offering wisdom that comes from real life transformation, healing through presence, holding space with compassion, empathy, and understanding. This is very important, by the way. Supporting others without trying to fix them. So I'm not here to fix you. I'm just here standing with you, helping you, trying to be here for you, right? I'm holding the space for you. I'm not here to fix you or fix your problem, right? I can't fix no one. If the person doesn't want to heal, they're not going to heal, right? So allowing your energy and awareness to be a source of comfort and clarity, guiding with intuition, trusting your inner knowing to support others on their path, helping others reconnect with their own truth and power, leading gently, honoring each person's unique journey. So, at Purpose Awaken, we feel called to share our growth, becoming a teacher, healer, or guide through our lived experience in embodied wisdom. So maybe you can ask yourself, how can I share my wisdom in a way that feels natural and aligned? Where am I being called to support or guide others? Am I serving from love rather than validation and Pressure, please, guys, this is very important. Most of the time, we do it out of validation and pressure, and it's not from love. And that's where's the problem that we fall again. Signs you're stepping into service. If you want to know about yourself, people naturally come to you for advice or support. You feel fulfilled when helping others grow. You listen deeply and hold space without judgment. Your words and presence inspire reflection and healing. You trust that your journey has meaning beyond yourself and living with intention. So we live by example, right? Conscious choices, moving from autopilot to awareness in your daily life. This is with the state 8, making decisions that reflects your values and higher purpose, acting with clarity instead of reacting unconsciously, and aligned actions, bringing meaning into even the smallest task. There's meaning. You find the meaning in everything around you. Ensuring your actions support both your growth and the well being of others. Living in a way that reflects who you are becoming. So, example, I'm as a hypnotherapist and I help people in quitting smoking. There's no, imagine if I am myself, I am a smoker. And how am I going to um, like, you know what I mean? So I'm a hypnotherapist and I'm a smoker, but I do service. I help others quitting smoking. Does that align in a way? Of course not, right? So you need to walk by the example. Purpose in motion, turning inner awakening into real world impact, serving others through mindful presence and intentional energy, creating a life guided by clarity, purpose, and direction. So living with intention means aligning your daily actions with your purpose, choosing consciously how you show up, serve, and contribute to the world. So maybe this is something you can do practice. What is my intention for today? When you wake up in the morning, you can ask yourself, how can I serve with awareness and presence today? Does this action align with my purpose or not? This is when you have those questions, you don't know what's going on. So sign you are living with intentions. You feel purposeful in your daily actions. Your choices align with your values and truth. You act with awareness rather than habit. You experience deeper fulfillment and clarity, and your life feels guided rather than random. So you out of that autopilot. Now the last one, the unity, oneness, consciousness. That starts with this with the solution of separation, the dissolution. So no more you are separated. Beyond me versus you, the sense of division between self and others begin to fade. So we don't have that kind of separation anymore. We see everyone like us because we are in reality, by the way, we're nothing but a mirror for each other. We recognize that all beings are reflection within the same whole. True. We all live on this earth. This earth remain in this huge space, universe, right? So we all on this earth. Judgment softens as understanding deepens, so no more judgment. An interconnected awareness, a felt sense that everything is connected people, nature, energy, everything. Everything is connected. So there's nothing left out. Greater empathy and compassion arises naturally within you. So you become more compassionate towards everything, animal, pests, human, tree, you will feel their pain. You will feel them. You will connect with them. You will have more awareness. You will have more compassion towards them. Actions becomes more mindful of their impact on the whole. Also, the ego, as I said, I mentioned softening the need to defend no more, compare no more, or separate the decreases. There's no more. You're not in that mode anymore. You don't want to be in competition anymore. You don't want to be defend yourself anymore. You are who you are. You have the acceptance and surrendering. Identity expands beyond roles, labels, and conditioning. Peace emerges from feeling part of something greater. So, signs of dissolving the separation. You feel deeply connected to others and the world around you. Compassion replaces replaces judgment. You see yourself in others' experiences. Conflict feels less about winning and more about understanding. A sense of inner peace and unity becomes more present. So the illusion of separation begins to dissolve, revealing the deeper truth that we are all interconnected part of one unified consciousness. So maybe you can Maybe we can keep remembering this. And then deeper inner peace comes, stillness within. A calm presence replaces inner chaos or overthinking. The mind becomes quieter and quieter, more centered and aware. Peace is felt deeply, even in uncertain or challenging moments. You're still in that vibration. You're still in peace. Freedom from resistance. Less need to control outcomes or force situations. So you surrender, more surrendering. Acceptance of what is without constant struggling. Trust in life's unfolding brings emotional ease and grounded in oneness. Peace arises from feeling connected to everything, no longer seeking completion outside yourself. A sense of I am enough and all is well. So there's a sign for that. You feel calm without needing external validation. Reactivity, reactivity decreases, responses become more mindful. You trust life even when you don't have all the answers. Silence and solitude feel nourishing, not uncomfortable. A steady sense of content, contentment replaces resilience. So as unity is realized, a profound inner peace emerges, no depend on external circumstances, but rooted in a deep sense of holiness and connection. So maybe this is when you can pause and say, can I allow this moment to be exactly as it is? Where can I soften instead of resist in that situation? What does peace feel like in my body? And then you go to connect to all that is. Unity with all life, a felt sense of connection with people, animals, and nature, recognition that all forms of life share the same sense, a deep respect for the interconnected web of existence, expanded awareness. Consciousness extends beyond the individual self. You connecting with the universe. You begin to feel part of something vast and infinite. Boundaries between self and others soften. And then you live in harmony. Actions naturally align with care for the whole. A desire to protect, nurture, and honor life arises, and decisions are made with awareness of collective impact. So now there's a sign. You feel deeply connected to nature and the universe. Empathy and compassion arise effortlessly. You sense energy and presence beyond the physical. You feel supported by life rather than separate from it. And gratitude for existence becomes a natural state for you. And gratitude, guys, this is very beautiful energy if you can connect with it. A deeply realization emerges. You're not separated from life, but intrinsically connected to all being, nature, and the greater universe. So maybe you can ask yourself that when you reflect, where do I feel most connected to life? How can I honor this connection in my daily actions? Can I see all beings as part of the same holiness? And then the final gates. This is the return to self becoming embodied, everything. So the completion of the nine gates, the shadow, I embrace myself. I meet my hidden wounds with compassion. I heal the inner child and reclaim my holiness. The surrender, I release control. I trust the flow of life. I soften resistance and open to transformation. The awakening energy, I expand my awareness. I awaken my inner wisdom. And life force, I recognize the signs guiding my path. The embodiment, I live my truth. I align with I align my mind, body, and soul. I express my authentic essence. And the service, I share my gifts. I transform my healing into purpose. I serve others through love and presence. And then the unity, I remember oneness. I remember where I come from. I dissolve the illusion of separation. I return to the knowing that we are all connected, regardless, yet still we are living, walking the journey as individuals. So this is where the duality is. The two in one and one in two. Yet we are one, but yet we are not one and the same token. So the final invitation, your awakening, does not end here. It begins every day through the choices you make, the love you share, and the presence you bring into the world. And then there is some kind of affirmation we can use where we can say, I'm awake, I'm aligned, I'm connected. I walk my path with love, wisdom, and purpose. And then maybe you can close that reflection with what part of yourself have you rediscovered? And maybe you can ask yourself, what truth are you ready to embody? How you will carry this awakening into your daily life. And then the end. For your presence, oneness, and courage, your awaken is sacred.